Once again, back again with another episode of the Nerds Podcast. Yeah, today I have a lovely young lady, Laura Stamp, in here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. Now, the reason I wanted to interview because I thought I liked the song you played the other day. You had posted, and I was just I like to interview people who have musical talent or who do art or whatnot. And my podcast is basically a podcast for basic nerds who like movies, video games, comic books, cartoons, pro wrestling, anything that nerds would like. But you don't have to be a nerd to like to be to enjoy the podcast. It's just mostly nerds listen to it, or mostly nerds are a part of it, or whatnot. So I figure, I like music as well. So I figure I'd ask you, how did you are you trained musically trained? How did you become?
Well, I used to take a lot of voice lessons, but I was singing like way before that, and music's just been a very strong passion in my life.
Hmm.
I take guitar lessons, so I'm learning how to play that. Pretty
Okay.
soon, I'll be trying to take some electric lessons, which is kind of similar.
Okay.
Um, but music's just been a very big part of my life for a long, long time. I took chorus for a long time. Um, I've just always been involved in music.
Okay. I mean, I know you, but I don't know. You can know people because we both go to Renaissance Academy. You can know someone, but still, you not really know that much about them just because you see them on the mat doesn't mean you actually know them.
Oh, for
And
sure.
and I thought it was kind of cool. When I heard your song, I said, well, I figure I hit you up and ask you, maybe you want to do an interview or something like that, and just talk about your musical, aspirations if you have any musical aspirations or not.
Yeah, um, I've always wanted to start like my own little band, um, but just never really got around to it. I tried one time, but just didn't really work with the other people.
Yeah.
Um, but I've always wanted to go into some like singer songwriter type thing,
Hmm.
just able to finish writing a song.
Now, now, normally when I interview people, I usually, and it's been lately, it's not necessarily like it could be anyone I interview, but usually I interview is a lot of people that were in like mainly metal or hard, I guess hard rock. I hate saying hard rock, but bands like that. But it's not like I'm above interviewing other people who have different musical tastes. It just happened to be that way. What are your musical tastes that you like that you listen to growing up?
Oh, I listen to everything. I listen to country, to rock, to metal, to alternative, indie, all of it. Blues.
Okay. What is your favorite right now? I mean, not even necessarily a genre. Just what do you normally listen to on your playlist?
My this is mostly like Alanis Morissette. I listen to a lot of Sam Smith.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, Sam
That's
Smith
cool.
is amazing to me.
That's cool. Um, let me see. What do you said you're going to school? What are you studying in school right now? Are you studying music or?
Oh well, right now I'm in high school. my senior year,
Okay.
but I want to go into dispatching,
What is that?
like the 911 dispatch, basically the
Oh,
people
I'm slow.
calls.
Okay. And I watched the TV show 911, and my cousin is was also in dispatch. I should have known that, but
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. I don't know if she still does it, but my cousin used to do it. I don't know if she was going to go into medical or not that, but she did dispatching for a while. I used to ask her questions, and they sound like horror shows at times. So I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can handle that. That sounds like too much.
Yeah, I'm nervous for it too.
But we need them. We need people like that. So
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
yeah. So they help save they're part of the reason why they save people's lives. So they're very important. That's a very important job.
Yeah.
So what else are you planning on going to college or something like that?
I plan on just going to my local college, getting my 4 years in, and then hopefully just moving on from there. Um, but
Okay.
hopefully, like during college, that will give me some time to go try to do some open mics.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Have you ever? Well, you can't do it now. Can't redo it now. But have you ever tried pre-COVID? Have you ever tried to do open mics? Because they used to. I think they have some around town or something.
Well, I used to be a part of the EC Glass Rock Band at my school.
Oh yeah.
Would do some shows. So I've performed a few times already. I performed at Fifth and Federal and Big Licks.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Do you do cover songs or do you your own
We did
original?
did like Red Hot Chili Peppers and some Tool and stuff like that.
That's all right. That's kind of cool though. I like that. That's
Yeah,
that's
it was
pretty
super.
that's pretty cool. Now now I know I keep asking about your music like growing up. What was in your house when you were playing as a kid? Because when I was a kid, my mom played everything. She played everything from Willie Nelson to like Parliament Funkadelic. She was kind of like she played all of it. I mean, years later she became I want to say born again, but she's always been born again. She was less uncomfortable playing music around us, but as a kid, I guess she was more comfortable. I guess we never registered. We never heard what she was playing though. But what did you as a kid? What did your parents or your mom or whoever was in the house? What did they play that that might have stuck with you?
Definitely 80s like pop music was a
Mm,
big thing for my mom,
okay.
and I think that's really what brought me into music. I also listened to a lot of like 90s R&B.
Oh yeah.
My dad loved rock, and I listened to a lot of his rock. He listened to a lot of Eminem, which is like, one of my favorite rappers.
That's funny. That's cool
I got,
though. Not
I
like
got,
funny. Sorry, go ahead.
I just got a little bit of everything, growing up.
That's cool, but it's like not necessarily funny how, but it's funny, interesting, because I'm way up in the age, and it's weird to hear when someone's sitting young listening to Eminem as a kid, because I always associate Eminem as like in the like as I was an adult when Eminem came out, so it's weird to see someone here and say they listened to Eminem as a kid, but
Oh
not
yeah,
like not ha ha funny, but ha ha interesting.
right.
Hmm.
No, I love his music. I can rap most of his songs. He's just an amazing artist.
Yeah, he is. He's a great. I don't want to say underrated because that doesn't really count because he is. I would say um him, Nas, and maybe like Mos Def and some other rappers. They're like lyrically like juggernauts. And Eminem was like you you probably saw the 8 Mile movie, didn't you?
I did.
I love that movie, and to me it's like I equate it to Rocky, and I equate it to a movie called Bloodsport, but it's not a very good movie. It doesn't really hold up. But the premise of the movie is what I hold it equate it to. It's like an underdog who has nothing to lose, and like Eminem's like one line in the movie that like cements it is basically him saying to Papa Doc, "You don't know what I've been through." I like that. That's the best line in the verse he says that destroys him.
It definitely resembles a lot of like people we have in like my inner city schools. You know, people don't think they're gonna make it, but you know they get through.
Yeah. If you're determined, that's why I think that's why people like underdogs is because they can relate to an underdog because the underdog usually is a person who has been told numerous times that they're not good enough, they're not physically good enough, they're not capable of basically overachieving any obstacles, and that's the opposite. If they are determined and do not give up, their goals, they can do it. And even though like Rocky's a great example, but there's other ones even cement like even more realistic than Rocky. Nothing against Rocky because I still like the Rocky movie. I'm not dissing on him. I'm just saying that
Oh,
what's the name? There are better examples.
yeah.
Now, I like to switch it up every once switch in the interview, not make it sound too repetitive. Are you a what kind of fan of movies are you of?
For me, I just like something that doesn't take much thought. I like just comedy. But I like a lot of the '80s movies, like Can't Buy Me Love and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
My favorite movie is probably 10 Things I Hate About You.
okay. I
Um,
I like that. I like both of them. I like Can't Buy Me Love. I did a podcast not just on that movie, but on it was basically revolved around the movie called it was called Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore, and the premise of the podcast was basically going back in high school and rewriting the wrong. Like those movies, there was a few of them that were where a person for some reason went back to high school. They pretended to be a high school student and went back in time, and the whole premise was them. To me, I looked at it as a premise was them trying to rewrite whatever tormented them in high school, and a lot of them were like nerdy outcast people who got picked on in high school, and it stuck with them as an adult. So when they went back and tried to uh, rewrite the wrong or something like that. And I thought that was a cool idea for it. So I looked up a lot of them, and even though Money Can't Buy Me Love is not technically on that list, but I would say it's a guy who was basically uh, outcast who looked at I guess the elite high school students or at least high school people as who he wanted to be. So he paid, well, in the movie, but he paid the popular girl to make him popular. But he realized, and inadvertently, he realized that that's not what he truly wanted to do. It
right.
backfired, and I love that movie for that.
It's a great movie. Like, it, you know, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, and then like there's other movies in that same vein that do the same thing, but I like that one because it's like it still holds up. It's not even though it is dated. I mean, but it's 80s. Like Patrick Dempsey. I mean, he's like a grown man now. So, but it's dated. But still, it doesn't bother you. Is there any like other what other comics? You said 80s comic. What other comics that you watch?
Um, I'm not exactly sure when this one came out, but Overboard is definitely a great movie.
Yeah, that counts. They remade that. They
They
remade
did.
it with the actress from Mom. I can't think of her name right now,
Oh no,
but
I'm not good with the names.
it's not important. But if you ever see the TV show Mom, you know what I'm talking about. But it's instead of the original one has what's the name I forget both actresses' name because one of them is an Escape from New York and Goldie Hawn and her would have it was they never got married, but her what's the name? I forget the other dude's name.
It was. I don't know why I can't think of it.
It's embarrassing.
I know, right?
if I have to remember if I had a gun to my head and I have to remember someone's name, I guess I'd be shot then, because I would never remember anyone's name.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I don't know why I
Yeah.
keep saying Kurt Douglas. But anyway, um, in the original, it's the man, woman, like the guy was a construction worker, whatever he was,
Yeah.
the whole overboard. But in the second one, in the remake, and they do reference the original actually in the movie, but in the second one, in the reboot or whatever you want to call it, the young lady is the one who's basically the one who tricks the man into thinking that they were married. I like that movie. That movie used to come on like regular television all the time, like not on like the pay channels, whatever you call it. He used to come on regular channel. That's a good one. Do you have any other ones you could think of offhand?
Hmm. Not offhand, I don't think. I do love a lot of musicals.
Oh yeah. Well, like, do you have any ones you can think of?
Well, recently I've been listening to Be More Chill, which I think is a super funny one.
Oh yeah.
I like a lot of the modern plays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I like Dear Evan Hansen. Hamilton's really good. I love Hairspray.
Which one? The '80s one or the one with John Travolta? It doesn't matter. I mean, you can say both,
Well,
but
with John Travolta, I love that he plays a woman. I think it's super funny. Um, so probably that one's my favorite.
okay. Because there. I mean, there's one on Broadway, and that's one with Harvey Firestein. I don't expect you to know who that is, because I didn't even know that was a real person. I mean, they used to portray him on SNL in the '90s. It was John Lovett used to play him on SNL. I didn't know he was a real person. I thought he was just playing a character. I said, that's a real dude. I said, oh, okay, because he's very flamboyant, if whoever he is, because I didn't know he was a real person.
Yeah.
But they did the Broadway one before John Travolta did his version. The man in the movie and Hairspray the remake, the guy who runs the big and tall shop, he plays the husband in the original.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
I
Jay
didn't know.
Stiller. Jay Stiller plays plays Divine's husband, and this probably doesn't even register you, but when I was in high school, I think it was during the summertime, and I think we had to do like summer work, and sometime let's watch movies, and we watched Hairspray, the original, and Divine is plays basically the character that John Travolta plays, and in the movie we're watching the movie, and I'm like, is that a dude? Because we didn't he didn't play like a drag queen. He played like a
Right.
housewife.
Right.
So when we're watching the movie, halfway through the movie, we're all looking around and say, I think that's a man. And and then there's a scene in the movie where he's playing himself not in drag as one of the council members. I was like, I think that's a dude. Matter of fact, I think that's a dude who's playing him, but he didn't play it. That's why uh, he got such uh, rave reviews, because people looked at him as a housewife as opposed to just a flamboyant drag queen. I thought that was kind of cool.
He pulled it off though, really really well.
Oh yeah,
It was amazing, honestly.
that I like that one. Did you ever see the movie Rent?
I did.
That's one of my favorite musicals to this day. I think it's one of my favorite. I love that musical.
Really good and has really good meaning behind it
Mhm.
also.
Now, um, I'm not saying you should watch it, but I don't know if you have Netflix. And the subject matter is a little coarse, and I'm letting you know offhand if it's too uncomfortable for you. I understand you don't want to watch it, but it's a TV show called Pose, and
Okay.
in the TV show it deals with there it's Madonna had this dance whatever thing called Pose in the '90s, but it's previous to that. It was some in the '70s in the gay community where they did dances, and they had big elaborate costumes and whatnot. It was in a small scene in the gay community that a lot of people didn't know about it. They did documentaries lately about it, but this TV show is based off in the early '70s and like early '80s as well, when the AIDS epidemic hit, and people didn't
Yeah.
know anything about it. And this show talks about that. It talks about people who are transgendered, and it's like they're actually transgender people on the show. If you can get through the subject matter, and I'm not suggesting you watch it if it's too much, because I don't blame some people when they watch a show, it's too harsh and it's too real and comfortable. I understand if they can't watch it, but if you can sit through it, it's a very good show.
Well, definitely I'd have to look at it. None of that stuff bothers me,
Mm.
so I
Yeah,
probably enjoy watching it.
yeah. But I always
But
feel bad not telling them people because I don't want people to be weirded out
oh
because
yeah,
my mom loves she loves uh who was it? He's a flamboyant um performer, Liberace, and there's a movie called The Candelabra, and I know my mom would not be able to sit through it.
right.
Like she was like, "Oh, yeah, you get The Candelabra," and I watch it. I was like, "Nope, not gonna be able to handle it. It's too much."
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be based on his actual life because he was a flamboyant gay performer that in the 70s, but people I think they were woefully ignorant on purpose. He's like, back in the day a lot of the performers and actors that were openly gay or that were in the closet. A lot of people didn't know, but I think a lot of people didn't want to know because
Right.
it's too much to handle if you have a matinee idol who's like a big name actor and you knew he was into dudes. You cannot unsee that knowing that he's on screen or on stage, you know, acting in front of a co-star, a female co-star, because that's all you're gonna see, especially if it's too much. So I knew my
Right.
mom was not gonna be able to handle that. That was been too much though.
Well, it's like with like Freddie Mercury or Elton John, especially.
Yeah,
Because if you've seen the Elton John movie, like what he went through, coming out with his identity and stuff like
yeah,
that, who he is, and
yeah. And same thing when I never saw the Elton John one, but I love the Freddie Mercury one. That was
oh,
rough. That hit hard. That cut a little bit. Not because I have gay people in my family, but I thought the story was just the fact that he struggled so much and he went to. I mean, he had drug abuse and all kinds of stuff, and then like this so-called boyfriend or wherever he was really taking advantage of him, and that was harsh though. And then when he got the AIDS virus, or he ended up contracting AIDS. There's a scene in the movie that is just heartwarming. Is when he's leaving the hospital and there's a man sitting on the table, not table, chair, and he sings one of the verses to one of his songs, and just a simple gesture back, he sings it back to him. But that would tear anyone apart. That was a beautiful moment in the movie. I like that moment.
it really was.
Mm.
But Freddie Mercury, it's crazy to think that celebrities actually do have their own issues,
Yeah,
and did come from, some of them, like Eminem, came from the very bottom.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, you can appreciate it because I think it's the reason why a lot of times we're shocked by, uh, actors and big stars because we don't look at them as real people.
right.
Look at them as like something that's not obtainable. And then when you see a person who's going through so many demons, like a person like Philip Seymour Hoffman, who has dealt with heroin addict probably his
Yep.
entire career, and he ended up dying of it. And I'm like, I didn't know you were suffering like that. I didn't know that.
Right. You just never know. And even in, like your community, you never know.
No.
Everybody has, their own thing going on.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, I appreciate this interview. I just want to just talk to you for a minute about your aspirations. Do you do you think you'll be planning on doing music in the future?
I really hope so.
Me too.
I do want to be able to do something more publicly with it. That was actually like the first time I've ever posted personally
You should do
as any.
more.
So hopefully, I can take that somewhere.
Okay. Well, once again, I appreciate you doing this interview, and hopefully, if you ever need any more songs, just hope you like to post them or let me know if you're gonna do anything else, because I like to interview again later. If you plan on if you get a gig or do anything, just let me know about it, and I'll like to interview about it.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, see you. Thank you again for letting me interview, and once again, I like to thank her for basically letting me to do this interview. So from now on, I'll be signing out. All right, see ya.